City Motoring. I'm JT here. Got a unique one today. What we're going to do here today is working with Vette-Lights again, as you can see, on brand. We have some upgraded lights again, but not for my Corvette this time. I do have my dad's Corvette here, which is a 1966 Stingray, fastback, coupe, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to upgrade to what they like to call the Holley RetroBright LED headlights. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's going to look not right. It's not going to be period correct. It's going to be too modern. It's going to be too, it's just not going to look like it's supposed to. You got two camps here where this goes. You see this all the time at the auctions. You see it elsewhere, you know, what people like. You got the people that want it original, exactly how it came out in '66. The guy's initials written on the gas tank, the plastic on the seat, I mean everything, just exactly how it was, original. That's cool. Those are neat looking. They're definitely vintage with the big steering wheel and the tires that don't perform anything like. That's fine. I mean, that's one thing. Then you have the other way, the resto mod crowd, the people that like to drive the car, the comforts, upgrades, things like that just make it a better experience or more current experience. My dad's kind of in this crowd. We haven't gone full resto mod, and you know, it's got the original motor, it still has a carburetor, it still has side pipes, it still has all those things, which, you know, we'll throw in some clips here and you'll see some things, and you'll see it here when we start the light install. But we do have things like a modern radio in it, new seats, tires and wheels have been upgraded, suspension's been upgraded. And this is the next good step. So what we have here, this is from Vette-Lights. They sell these for the 63 to 67 Corvette. These are the Holley RetroBright lights. Holley, it's funny, they're paired with Morimoto. They made the lights I did a few videos back on my Trailblazer, the switchback, you know, the fog lights, or the parking lights that go from orange to white and do that whole thing. But these are a sealed unit. They are serviceable, and they're from Vette-Lights. They set us up with these. They even give you extra harnesses if you need to pin things out. Instructions are with every one of them. Being in the type of car it is, there are 4 headlights in this car, 2 for low beam, 2 for high beam. And we have one to replace everything. So I'm going to show you how this works, how these go in, and then we'll see how they look. Because honestly, you know, I started off with a little clip there driving around. I was expecting dimmer. They're fine. I mean, they're not, you know, overly horrible. They're not overly great either. They're just okay. But I will say, whenever the time comes to drive this car, I really don't want to drive it at night, just based on the headlights and maybe somebody not seeing me. So you're gonna save yourself with that, I think. The other thing is, this is just gonna be a nice, clean upgrade overall. They have 3 versions of this light, which I'll put an image here or here. The classic white, which has more of a dim look. It's gonna look more like what's in the car now. There's a European yellow, which I don't understand yellow lights. If you know about that, comment below. What is the point of yellow lights? Like, people want yellow fog lights. I've seen the yellow fog lights on the Corvette race car. Like, what is the point of the yellow? I've never researched that. Finally, what we have is the modern white. These are going to be your white, bright headlights. I'm guessing, based on how much Holley's put into these and the build quality, these aren't going to be like plopping in just the wrong bulb into the wrong thing. It's a full unit. I mean, it's all in here. So we're not hacking in, we're not doing, these are a direct bolt-on. They fit right in the factory bucket, and we make it work. And if you see here, I mean, these are very nice pieces. They, you know, weigh a couple pounds each. They feel plasticky on the front, but metal on the back. And I've seen other sites selling like plastic covers for these, like a shield to keep them from cracking, or, you know, a rock breaking it or something. Nice wiring on here. So let's get this going. Enough with me talking. I'll show you how to take this apart, which I've never worked on this car personally. My dad has. He's had it since the 80s, but this is new to me. So I'm going to slowly take my time, get into this, and you can join me and do this on your car as well, because if I can do it, I think you can do this too, because that's my first time working on a car from the 60s ever, and I'm super pumped about it. So here we go. first thing we're gonna do is take off this outer trim piece here. Phillips heads, it looks like 4. Down on the bottom we got some there, and then 2 on the top here. I'm gonna start with the driver's side and see how we do. So our trim piece is off. It's down there. It's interesting. I mean, it's just a piece of metal. It's funny, it's blue behind it. I wonder if the other one's blue. Now, this car was originally red. You can see some of it in there a little bit. And I don't know if the wiring is supposed to be silver. I'm guessing that's overspray from the old paint job there. But it's funny when you get into these older cars. I mean, even my Corvette, my 99, it's you start seeing things. You're like, I wonder if it was meant to be like that, because we got a flathead here holding on this trim piece. We got a flathead with, you know, it's like you could catch it with a socket. We got one miss in there. Phillips there, Phillips there, and Phillips there. So let's slowly remove these one at a time, and we'll see what's what. The other thing I think too, holding these on, there are some springs back here I saw. Right there's a spring, it looks like, holding that on, and then there's one there too. So a couple things on here to take off before the bulb itself comes out, or the sealed unit. So our bucket that's our bucket, we'll call it. I don't know the official names on this particular car. This is like the trim piece here that holds it up there. Had 2 screws holding it, and there's a spring under there still holding it. I'm just gonna let it sit there for now. One thing I'd highly recommend doing is, as you do this job, take pictures, just so you remember how it comes apart. That's the connector though. This reminds me so much of my 80s Wrangler sealed units, and then just the 3-prong connector there in the back. So next thing we do is disconnect this and see these ones, these halogens here. These are dated, looks like 3/1 of 96 of all things, so that's interesting. I'm pretty sure my dad put these ones in more recently. Just a little comparison here. That's obviously our new one, and I got the high beam on so you can see, but my goodness. Now, what I've learned on this car, I did a little wiring digging, and you're supposed to test them with a multimeter. You're supposed to verify what's doing what. On the low beam side, I didn't have to change anything, didn't have to use any of the little harness things they sent, anything like that. It worked as is, because they give you the wiring, what the light is. You have to figure out what your car is to kind of match up, but they give you those. It's not too bad when you verify what's what. I'm thinking the high beam is going to be a different story, because it looks to be maybe 2-wire back there, but got to take all the trim off and see here. But we'll get that one done next and see what's what. But my goodness, look at that. That's just bonkers. Absolutely insane how nice and white that is. And like I showed you before, you can get this in more of a yellowy, we'll say dimmer white. Not yellow. There's yellow. There's the bright white, which we have here, the modern white. Then there's the classic white, which looks more this style. I dig that though. So we're on to the high beam, which is on the inside on this car. The big difference is this is a 2-wire setup. At least on this particular car, the black is ground, which is fairly common. Not to be, no pun intended there, but it is. Black wire usually means ground, but you can check it if you want. And green is the high beam signal. Now these particular wires, they have, or lights, they have 3 wires coming off of them. So you have to adapt that 3-wire setup to a 2-wire setup, and they give you the setup for that. Basically, we're going to go with the black, which is ground, and then the red, which is the high beam signal on this particular light, and then the blue is going to go unused there. You can see it right in there. So you match up, let me hold this up here, which way it's going to go on your car. So black to black, and that's going to go right there to there, if you can see that. And then the red on this light is the
a high beam signal, and that's going to go to the green. So we basically made a little, almost like an adapter, a 3-prong down to a 2-prong, and they give you all this stuff. These things just slip into here pretty easily, and you make a little connector, and they plug in up here. We tuck all this wiring out of the way, and that's it. So let me get this on here, and I'll show you what both lights on looks like. And there you have it. Obviously the new ones, obviously the old ones. Now what's interesting, the one on the outer over here is a halogen. This one I believe they call a T3, the high beam one. My dad said he put halogens in a number of years ago for the low beams. A little different. You can see the, not so much on film maybe here, but I can see it with mine. And then there's our stalkers, just, or I'm sorry, the upgraded ones there compared to the stalkers. Quite a difference there. What's funny is when you dig into these things, you start finding, I mean, you know, the age of this car, there's all sorts of stuff. There's little mounting clips that hold on the bezels, and I noticed I'm missing a couple, so I might order some of those here before I fully reassemble here. Just little bits. I mean, since 1966, who knows what's happened with stuff like this, but either way, that is the comparison there, which is drastically better. And then you can also adjust these and point them in that, which I might get into once it's kind of on level spot, back in the road, you know, that sort of thing, because it's you need somewhere like a big flat wall to sort of test that out. There's a way to adjust them so they do different things. And usually when you change out your bulbs or the full headlight, you should do that anyways. So, but there you go, quite an upgrade. I'm going to tackle this side because I know what I'm doing now, and we should have all 4 in here in no time. So that's it. All the trim's back on. Got some new screws from Corvette supplier online, just to, you know, kind of tighten things up a little bit, put some correct screws in there. And that is low beam on the outside, high beam on the inside. And now it's kind of getting dark-ish. It's about 9 o'clock and it's still light out, but I do want to go see how this looks, and I'm gonna take you with me here. You can get a little view from the driver's seat here and see what it looks like driving down the road. But yeah, I mean, slick product from Vette-Lights. Check them out. They have the different options, the different colors, the you know, the variations in it, the 3 different types. This is the modern white, not the classic. So we did go for the little bit brighter setup, and I think it was a good choice, at least for us. But you know, your needs are your needs, and hit up Vette-Lights for any of your Corvette lighting products. C2, I don't even know if they have C1, but I know they have C2 all the way up to C7, C8 stuff now. So check them out. Lots of neat stuff always coming down the pike with them, and you know, we'll catch you next time here. But link below to Vette-Lights. Big shout out to them for supporting this one, because without them, you know, I've had man, 3, 4, 5 videos now done with them, and always a pleasure to work with, and a great company. So check them out, and I'll show you some driving footage here.